Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Monday, the 1st of September. I'm Hilary Entwistle. A review of Hamilton's theatre assets has been concluded, with Hamilton City Council adopting a plan to rationalise its theatre operations from 3 to 1. At a meeting last week, Council asked management to explore the potential exit of the Clarence Street Theatre operation, having already gifted the Meteor to the One Victoria Trust. Sean Murray, Council's General Manager of Events and Economic Development, says Council endorsed the staff recommendation that staff work with Creative Waikato to develop a proposal for new management and ownership of Clarence Street Theatre and report back to Council with an appropriate recommendation no later than the 27th of November this year. Stakeholders in the Waiwhakareke Natural Heritage Park project have welcomed a significant grant from the Department of Conservation's Community Conservation Partnership Fund. The $105,000 grant, announced this week by Associate Minister of Conservation Nikki Wagner, is a substantial boost for the project, which is managed by the Tui 2000 Incorporated, which includes Wintec, Waikato University's Centre for Biodiversity Research and Hamilton City Council. Tui 2000 made the successful grant application, and Chair Lynn Garnham says it will fund about 25,000 trees, grasses and shrubs for planting over the next few years. The Bay of Plenty Steamers have fallen short of yet another ITM Cup victory for the 2014 season after suffering a large 41-3 loss to Taranaki in Palmerston North yesterday. It was a game of two halves at Yarra Stadium yesterday, with the Bay team not able to advance on their score in the second half that was steered by Taranaki's side 34-3. The blue and gold team next verse North Harbour in Rotorua on September the 7th. Little Mouse and Enumero in Tauranga are two of three Bay of Plenty companies to be selected to advance to the next stage of the ANZ Flying Start Business Plan competition. The Tauranga entrepreneurs, along with Shemipreneur Limited from Rotorua, will join 36 fellow regional winners from throughout New Zealand, going through to the next stage. The competition, run by business.gov.nz, is part of a Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment aim to seek out the best business plan from new or fledgling Kiwi enterprises and help them put their plans into action. The Pilot House Kata Checkmate, which grounded on Motuhaura, Whale Island near Whakatane last Friday, has been refloated and has been towed to Tauranga. Bay of Plenty Regional Council's Regional Harbour Master, Peter Buell, says the boat was badly holed in about 8 places on the port side where she had been lying in the surf. Regional Council Maritime and Pollution Prevention staff worked last weekend to remove more than 450 litres of diesel so that it didn't leak into the sea. The boat skipper has said the boat's engine seized when salt water got into it. Now for the marine forecast, Raglan, West Coast, southeasterlies 15 knots, dying out tomorrow night. Your high tide is at 3:07 p.m. East Coast Bay of Plenty, southeasterly 10 knots, becoming fine during the morning. Your high tide in Tauranga is at 12:23 p.m. Just ahead, the Waipa District's 10-year plan. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. The Waipa District Council are preparing their draft 10-year plan and have launched a campaign to engage with the community to hear what Waipa people have to say early in the process and on a wide range of issues. Mayor of Waipa District, Jim Milcrest, spoke with Anne-Marie recently about the issues that are of most concern to both the council and the community.
The cost of upgrading our water and sewerage facilities, I suppose, across the district. We've reached the limit of the capacity, I suppose, for most of our facilities now. and we need to go to the next stage of upgrading those to cope with future growth for the district, and that's a significant cost. And then on top of that, we've got a few major projects that are more discretionary, I suppose. Te Awamutu Library and Museum Complex, the Cambridge swimming pool is still there, seal extension programs, etc. So there's still significant work that we can do to make it a much more attractive district to live in.
Water and sewage are major issues for you, as you've mentioned. What are the implications? What needs to be done?
Well, the implications are that if we don't have good quality systems, then we won't get growth, and certainly growth is necessary to be able to afford some of those nice to haves, and we don't want to turn business away. So we need to make sure that we have enough capacity to cope with our I suppose residential customers, as well as potential for businesses to come into the town. And of course it's water in terms of water supply and sewerage out at the other end, so we certainly need to be able to meet our environmental standards and keep our waterways as pristine as we can. You've
had a focus on debt repayment, and the books are looking pretty good for the Waipa district at the end of the financial year. You must be pleased about that.
Oh, absolutely. The new financial measures, I suppose, that the government have introduced for all councils across the country so that we can compare. Waipa certainly stands out as one of those who's in a very sound financial position, I suppose. And that's, I suppose, understandable. When our facilities start to get to the end of their life, then our debt has been repaid on those facilities, and it's now time to increase that debt to cover the cost of the next new upgrade as we move forward. And people shouldn't be concerned about the debt as long as we don't exceed those levels that have now been set by government, and that's at about 10% of our net income, if you like, from rates and charges. So that's the amount that we can actually plan to spend on debt repayment or debt costs, not necessarily just the repayment. And we're running at about 2%, 2 or 3% at the moment, so we have quite a lot of flexibility. We don't want to take out debt unnecessarily, but it is a sensible way to fund infrastructure.
For more details, see the Waipa District Council Facebook page or go to waipadc.gov.nz. Victim Support is a community organisation that helps people hurt by crime and other trauma. Working closely with the New Zealand Police, they provide emotional and practical support every day of the year and would like to expand their current team. Cheryl Crawford, Service Coordinator for Victim Support, spoke with Anne-Marie recently and explained more about their role in the community.
It can be any experience from the homicide right through to the little old lady that's been burgled and lost her precious jewellery. We will have someone there to help them work through the situation and support them through the next step.
Tell me about the different types of support that Victim Support offers. It's not just listening, is it?
No, it's not just listening. We can be there to provide information about what's available in the community to help. We can be there to help them with information about attending court. We can be there to help them with information about things like parole board submissions, victim notification registers, and basically information on anything that can affect the victim.
You're available 24/7, 365 days of the year, and Victim Support is run by volunteers. Do you have enough volunteers?
We never have enough volunteers. I've got an amazing group of volunteers that work for me at the moment, but they would also welcome to have some helpers, and we are always looking for people to help.
What type of person makes a good Victim Support volunteer?
Someone that's got empathy with others, someone that has got the ability to think on their feet and make snap decisions about things, and to be a good listener, and to be able to stand up to the rigours of the job, which can be quite traumatic at times. Time commitments can be worked around what the volunteer has got available. Anything from 1 or 2 days a month to 3 to 4 days a month. More the better really, but we have to be realistic. People have other lives as well.
Tell me about the training that's given.
We have a very intensive training that was worked over 2 weekends. They're taught all the things they need to know. We talk to them about grief and trauma, we talk to them about self-care, we talk to them about what sort of things they're likely to come across and how they can deal with them. we just pretty much get them ready to get out into the field and to work with victims.
And once they're in the field?
When they start on the job in the field, they go with a buddy who will be a trained volunteer who is there to support them and to show them how to do it, what is expected, and to coax them and encourage them to do the job.
To find out more about volunteering for victim support, phone 0800 Volunteer. That's 0800 865 868. And their website is victimsupport.org.nz. Coming up next, mixed martial arts. Welcome back to Central News. Last week, Amanda Harper talked to Waikato-based Luke Jumia about the ins and outs of mixed martial arts. Tonight, we find out why he needs your help.
Luke, you and your family recently moved back from Phuket. Why were you over there in the first place?
We moved over there so I could pursue training full time and make the real crack, because I'm fighting against high level opponents and I need to match the skill, you know, so training full time was the only option.
Yeah, and is there more of a industry over there for MMA?
Yeah, and the living costs and expenses, you know, compared to living here, I have to work over here, whereas over there, you know, our money goes a long way, you know, and that's why a lot of the fighters are attracted to going over there.
Oh, okay, I didn't realise that. So when you were training in New Zealand and fighting, you're working a full-time job as well?
That's it, have to for the living costs, you know, as they rise.
That is true. And what were you doing?
Panel beating.
Panel beating, excellent. So how was it different being in Thailand to being in New Zealand?
For me, I enjoyed it. I loved it, you know, because I'm doing what I love anyway. Every day, day in, day out, wake up and do what I love. And I also had my family with me, so it was good. The weather's good, there's beaches right there, you know. But it's different not having your family and that around, but it was enjoyable. I loved it.
Yeah, did you get sick of the nice weather?
Nah, I come home, it's cold. I have to put a jersey on. I haven't worn a jersey in 5 months.
Oh, that would be nice. That sounds great. And also with training as well. I mean, it's so hot and humid over there.
Yeah, that's a real struggle. It's a real struggle to get used to that. Takes a good 2-3 weeks. Like the humidity and the heat in the training, it's just, man, shocks the system. Coming from here, like the air too is like dense moisture in the air, so it's real hard to breathe and makes training hard. But once you get used to it, it really makes you fitter, you know.
Yeah, and does it help? Because I know that you have to try and like lose a lot of weight before each fight.
Yeah.
Does it help being in quite
Yeah,
a?
it does. It helps you sweat. I mean, you lose 2-3 kilo each training session, like easily of sweat. It's crazy.
So what was the biggest struggle for you being in there? You did mention about missing your family.
Yeah, I mean, I had my partner and baby over there with me, so it was pretty easy in that aspect. The only thing was when fights started drying up, and it was getting hard to find fights. But I mean, food's cheap, food's good, living was pretty good, so there was not really any struggle.
Yeah, so the money dried up, and that's why you had
so
to come back
had
to New
come
Zealand.
Home, sort of forced to come home a bit early.
Yeah.
And the second I come home, things started to, you know, line up again. So.
Yeah, and what about your partner? Was she working over there as well? I know she does photography and some of her.
Just doing a bit of photography on the side. Yeah. Just that. But now she's come back to work.
Yeah. So are you going to be going back over to Phuket?
Definitely. I'm looking at hopefully at the end of next week back over there, because I got about 5 weeks until my next fight. So.
Okay. And baby and partner going with you too?
No, they'll be staying back working.
How's that going to be?
Yeah, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
I did 2 months without them, and it was pretty hard, but I mean, just train, eat, sleep, at least that's all I do, you know. But
yeah, working hard for the bigger dream though in the end, yeah. So I know that you are trying to, you know, raise a bit of funds, because obviously there's not a lot of work in New Zealand. How can people help? How can they help you out?
Well, at the moment, recently I just set up it's called GoFundMe. It's a website, gofundme.com or .co.nz, whatever it is. People can go on there and see my story and photos and updates, and I put videos and posts in that, and then they can donate, you know, click on and donate a bit of money, whatever, to help living costs and things like that. Otherwise, on Facebook or or definitely looking for sponsorship.
Yeah.
Any sort of sponsorship from organisations or companies.
What kind of organisations?
I'm not sure.
Like protein?
Yeah,
businesses?
I mean,
Is it?
that sort of things help. But it really, it's kind of going to have to benefit them too,
Yeah.
So like what I can sort of offer is fight shorts, logos, banners in the fights, weekly posts and updates. Because I have a lot of following and things like that on Facebook and Twitter, it's going to help them when I, tag them.
Because you'll be representing their brand as well.
If they think that it's going to benefit them also, then they can look at something like me, especially come from New Zealand, where some of the fights has like got 1 billion viewers.
Yeah.
It can help. So
Yeah. So are there any actual professional fighters in New Zealand?
yeah, there's one. His name is Daniel Hooker. He's recently just signed to the UFC, and he trains and fights out
Is
of
he the
Auckland.
first Kiwi to sign?
Nah,
Was there someone else already before
James
him?
Tahuna. I think James Tahuna was. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's the only professional one at the moment, which indicates that there's not much money here in New Zealand. What kind of needs to change? Like, what do you think sort of...
Well, for me, it's kind of a different story because I have a partner and a baby,
Yeah.
If I didn't, it maybe would be a little bit different. I could live a rougher lifestyle, and not have to, have a house and this and that.
Yeah.
But I've got the family with us. Daniel Hooker, he doesn't, so, that's why he's probably more able to live and train in New Zealand.
Yeah.
But I think as the sport grows, and say like people like myself, as I get older and then I start teaching, I have the knowledge and the ways, I've been there, done it, so I kind of know.
Yeah.
So I think once more people like that sort of come around, the New Zealand scene will pick up, especially for the younger people,
To find out how to help this young Kiwi achieve his dreams and support his family, like his Facebook page, facebook.com/Luke Jumia MMA. Just ahead, your weather for tomorrow and the what's on in the art scene. Welcome back. It's officially spring, so you may be in the mood to leave the house a bit more, and there is plenty to do in Tauranga. I caught up with the ladies of Creative Tauranga about Connect the Dots.
Okay, so this is a relatively new initiative of ours, and the idea behind it is to help our creative community connect with people out there maybe who have specific skills that they might be able to assist them with. So we've got one coming up on Tuesday the 16th of September from 12 to 1:30, and this seminar is all about how to connect our creative community with advertisers. So Ross from the Weekend Sun will be coming to talk to us about tips in marketing and presentation, and also on copywriting.
Tracy, what's going to be coming into the gallery?
We've got quite a number of exciting exhibitions coming into the gallery. We've now split the gallery into 3 separate galleries. So in September we have Murray Clode, James Stanbridge and Tony Pearce, all quite different techniques in their work, and really exciting, something new. They're all new in the emerging scene, so we're quite excited about that.
And Tracy, there are lots of shows coming up, aren't there?
I know, it's just all go, and of course we always get busier towards the end of the year with so many end of year productions being put on by the local dance houses and that sort of thing. But I did pop along to see the rehearsal for Show Business at Westside Theatre on 17th Avenue. Fantastic. If you love the shows of Broadway, definitely a must-see. There's something in there for everyone, and a lot of solo acts. I've watched these shows over a number of years, and it's been great to see some of their team come out and do their own solo performances in this particular show. Yvonne Edwards has been 30 years in teaching dance to a lot of our little budding ballerinas and dancers around the city, and she's celebrating 30 years with a performance of Sleeping Beauty. So I think that will be quite popular amongst the community to pop along and visit that.
And the International Film Festival.
Yes, always a grand selection of films. We have featured a page on September highlights and Creative Beats, so great idea to pop online and look at our magazine and see what's on at Rialto this September. So yes, ticked off a few to go and see myself.
And Bex, can you tell us about the creative community's funding?
Yeah, sure. So Creative Tauranga look after this scheme, and we've held 2 rounds per year, February and September. There's two different schemes, there's Western Bay of Plenty and Tauranga City. So if basically they're open to anyone in the community who is running a community-based arts project. So you can come in and help us, we'll help you to put together your funding application, your project proposal, and the next round for this closes at 2 p.m. on the 12th of September.
Of course, you can find out more at creativetauranga.org.nz, and you can download a free copy of Creative Beat there too. Now, for our region's weather. Hamilton, your Tuesday will become fine with light winds during the morning. Your expected high is 18 and an overnight low of 4. For the rest of the Waikato, you can expect your Tuesday to become fine with the southerlies dying out. Paeroa, your expected high is 16 and an overnight low of 6. Matamata, 15 and 5. Te Aomutu, 18 and 4. And Tokoroa, 15 and 5. Tauranga becoming fine with light winds during the morning. Your expected high is 17 and an overnight low of 7. The rest of the Bay of Plenty becoming mostly fine during the morning, but showers about the eastern ranges, and you'll have those southerlies dying out too. Te Puke, your expected high is 16 and an overnight low of 8. That is the news for today. We would love to hear your feedback. So like us on Facebook, centralnews.tv, or email us news@tvcentral.co.nz. Join me again tomorrow night when we discuss business confidence in Tauranga and the council road trip. I'm Hilary Entwistle. I hope you have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.